high school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello again and welcome to Overtime. I'm Scott Leber.
And I'm David Greenberg. This is our weekly recap of high school basketball in the Rockford area. Your spot for highlights, news, and interviews.
In a little bit, we'll be joined by Guilford boys coach Chris Dixon to discuss the great season the Vikings are having so far. And we'll spotlight the NUIC's most prolific scorer and probably best player, Kellen Hensey. But David, it was not a typical Friday night for us. Most Nick 10 teams took the night off.
Yeah, that's because they'll be playing Saturday. They'll be busy Saturday and Monday playing in those Martin Luther King tournaments. But there was some Nick 10 girls action as well as other boys and girls action from the other conferences. We're going to start off at Pecatonica for an NUIC boys game between Peck and Lena Winslow. It was a heck of a battle between these schools in football, and a lot of those football players suited up for this game, but not that one. Hunter Hoffman had to sit out again. He'll be ready to go soon. Peck had only 21 points at halftime to lead by 1. They topped that in the third quarter by scoring 22 on a bunch of threes. Bryce Fitzanko knocks that one down. Trent Hetland will knock another down from the exact same spot. Cooper Hoffman, now the freshman, is next. Yes, sir. And Bo Seaton had himself a great game. He goes inside for 2 of his game-high 18 points. At the other end, the shots just were not dropping at all for Lee Wynn in the second half. Pecatonica defeated Lena Winslow 53-43. That big third quarter by the Indians was the difference.
Coach just told us to get to the bucket, and that's what we did. Played good defense all game, got to the bucket, and won the game. I don't know.
We knew we were playing good defense the whole game. We just had to get our offense going. We started knocking down shots in the second half.
You guys get up for Lena Winslow considering the football rivalry you have with them?
I do think Lena Winslow's always been a rivalry, and both teams come ready to play every time we meet.
Check out another NUIC game, Durand at Ackwen. The Bulldogs, and it's the Durand Dogs that get the first highlight tonight. Alex Montalvin sinks the corner 3, and it's Ackwen inside to Ali Arndt. He puts it up and in. Ackwen on the break now after a turnover. Reed Pearson to the other Pearson. Lane finishes strong through the contact. Here's Ackwen again. It's the senior Dominic Albers. That 3 is good. Ackwen were the better Bulldogs tonight. They win 53-41.
There was one Nick 10 boys team that did take the court tonight.
Yeah, that was Belvedere North. The Blue Thunder hosted the Geneva Vikings second half. The 3 from the wing here, no good, but Adam Brown there in the middle puts it on the deck and gives North a 1-point lead. Fourth quarter now. Geneva answered with a find underneath. That's Hayden Vostell. He puts the reverse layup up and in, and then Jimmy Rasmussen to Chris Sugar. All of a sudden, the Vikings had the lead, but North got the answer they needed. Jacob Booker into the corner. Ethan Andre for 3, and he drains it. Geneva went back up by 3. This time, Booker tossing it to Aaron Winters from downtown. Gets a friendly roll to tie it up at 34. Geneva up 40-39 here. North trying to take the ball up. Adam Brown driving, pulling out from the baseline and giving the Blue Thunder the lead. They've lost a bunch of tight games this season, but they finally get one to go their way, beating Geneva 43-40.
You know, we've been in a lot of games against a lot of really good teams, and for whatever reason, things just haven't gone our way. You know, Geneva's awfully good. They're a really good program, as everyone knows, and we were excited for the opportunity to play them. But, you know, with Geneva's physical, and it's about time we stood up for ourselves a little bit, you know. 2 teams that are pretty evenly matched, and a big win for us tonight.
Some other boys' scores from the area. A couple of big northern games that got canceled tonight. Byron Richmond Burton game, as well as the Mendota Rock Falls. And in the NUIC, the Fulton Steamers knocked off Polo 59-22.
Now to the girls. Nick 10 leader HONONEGAH took the court in Freeport. They're going to get a bucket here from Ember Gunnick. And now it's the sharpshooter, Haley Warren, like a sniper, right on target. And the Indians take a good look inside to Carly LeMay. Takes one dribble, lays it in. They're going to love her at RVC. Now the Lady Indians getting a turnover, leads to another bucket by LeMay. Indians raise their record to 9-0 in the conference. They get their 19th win overall, defeating the Pretzels 65-24.
At Guilford, the Vikings hosted Belvedere. Bucks drew first blood here. Carolyn Salgado just knifes through the defense, has herself an easy layup. And Cindy Donaldson and the Lady Vikes started heating up. This 3 ball from the wing is money, and Donaldson tries it from the other side. equally as effective. She added 3 more. Now Donaldson going to get an assist. Avery Green knocking down the 3 from almost the same spot. Now here's another assist. Lindsey Knuth pulling up. Quick catch and shoot from the elbow. The Lady Vikes cruise to a 49-20 win.
More girls action at Bago. Winnebago hosting Oregon, and Mia Brown gonna come right our way, coming in strong. Bago jumped on the Hawks for a big early lead, but then they do that to everybody just about. Brown scored 12. Brown goes inside that time to Zimmerman, who will go to the free throw line after that. Mariah Drake driving for Oregon. Her shot not gonna go, but there with a backside rebound is Liz Moyce. Bago has a lot of depth. Katie Erb came in off the bench, fired in this 3-pointer. Bago led 42-9 at recess, and Bago defeated Oregon 70-22. Bago, though, is a much bigger game tomorrow afternoon at home against Peoria Notre Dame.
In the Big Northern, Stillman Valley knocked off Genoa Kingston 69-38, and in the Nick 10, the Auburn Lady Knights took down the E-Rabs 64-20. Well, don't even think about touching that remote. We got lots more to get to. Look ahead to Martin Luther King tournament action later, plus my spotlight feature on Eastland's Kellen Hensey.
But up next, Guilford boys coach Chris Dixon will join us to discuss his vastly improved Vikings. You're watching Overtime. Well, Auburn, East, and Jefferson have all won Nick 10 championships over the last 7 seasons, and almost every year those 3 programs have been in the hunt for conference championships. It's the 4th Rockford Public School, Guilford, that has struggled. The Vikings haven't had a winning record in conference play since 2007. But that's all changing this season. The Vikings are very much in the hunt for the conference championship. Head coach Chris Dixon joined me earlier in a Zoom interview.
Well, Chris, you guys finished slightly under 500 in the shortened season last year. This year, here you are with 11 wins already. You're sitting at 8-2 in the conference. Is this team a little bit ahead of where you thought it might be at this stage, or were you expecting this kind of a season from these guys?
Well, I think we are just a slight bit ahead of where we kind of anticipated being. My young guys have grown up a lot faster than anticipated. But with that being said, we did set the expectations high. So that if we did fall a little short, then the goal would be fall far from what our expectations were.
I knew you guys had talent. I'd seen you play earlier in the year, but a big question in my mind going into last weekend and that Boylan game and the East game was, okay, can they beat one of the big dogs in the conference, being one of those 2 teams or Auburn? And your guys went out last Friday night and showed they could when they knocked off the Boylan Titans. Tell me a little bit about what that did for the confidence of your guys to get a primo win like that.
Oh, it was huge for our confidence. It was a big-time confidence builder. You know, we started the season off, we had a really tough schedule. You know, we started off in our tip-off classic with East St. Louis, you know, and then we played a really good Michelle Clark team. So, you know, our record kind of didn't indicate early how good we were. Then we ran into Auburn. And early in the Auburn game, we had got up by, I think, 12 early in the game. So it was kind of just getting our guys to understand being able to keep a level of play going. So putting 4 quarters together, so to speak. So when we came into the last week's schedule, we knew we had the 2 big teams to play, teams that's usually on the upper echelon of the conference. So one of the things we did was challenge the guys. You know, in order to make a mark here, we need to either be close or either get one of these statement wins. And the guys pulled it out and put out a statement win. And not only did they do that, 24 hours later, they made a heck of a run at a really good East High School team.
I'm going to throw 3 names at you and give me a little, 20-second or so synopsis of each guy on your team. One is Makai Doby. Tell me about this young man.
Very poised, quiet. You never know whether we're up 10 or down 10 with this kid. What I love about him is that he has a level head 90% of the time, and he plays above a 16-year-old. He's a 16-year-old kid, but he plays with maturity a little bit more than that. And the one thing I like about him is he continues to push himself to get better.
The next young man is Bryson Hodge.
Bryson Hodge is he's a motor. I call this kid our motor. He has a very high motor, you know. As everybody on our team likes to put it that, you know, it says, get Bryson the ball. The thing about that is if Bryson has the basketball, he usually can create for others. And I always tell him is that good players make other players better. So one of those things that I've challenged him with this season is not just being good himself, but making everyone else around him better.
And the third guy is Malachi Johnson.
I still call him rookie. He's my young guy, and with thing about him is he's always had expectations. He's been having them for quite a while. And when I got him in at Guilford High School, I told him that I was going to challenge him and I was going to coach him really hard. I asked him, I said, can you handle it? And the one thing that I say great about him, and it's a testament to him and his dad, and the thing is that I've challenged him, and he's did nothing but accept it. And I probably coach him a little harder than most people would coach a 15-year-old. But like I told him, it says, my job is to get you prepared for the next level, because that's where you want to be at ultimately. And he's accepted it.
The last thing I want to ask about is the Gatorade bath that they gave you after the Boylan win on Friday. But what that told me was that this team is really bonded with you. These guys like you. They're buying into your system. I mean, as a head coach, you can't ask for more than that, to have the guys just buy into you and your system.
When your team buys in, they'll run through a brick wall for you. We had some really good teams at Jefferson, and I brought all those things over with me to Guilford. The things to where we work hard. We're a class organization on and off the floor. And one thing is stability. You know, those kids, I tell them, I said, you know, one thing about it is I'm going to be the same with you each and every day. And if you come play hard for me, you know what? Good things will happen for us. So the great thing about them is they've all bought into the program. They bought into the off-season things as well. So that parlays into the way our kids are playing now.
Now, this is Dixon's second full season as the Vikings head coach, and he is doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, I just absolutely love him. And his players, they love him too. It's kind of been a revolving door of coaches at Guilford for a long time, but hopefully Dixon can bring some of that continuity to the program. Well, coming up in a bit, we'll look back at Wednesday night's Nick 10 thriller at Boylan, plus a look ahead to this weekend's MLK tournament action.
As we said earlier, there were no Nick 10 boys games tonight, but there was a great one this past Wednesday night.
Yeah, a down-to-the-wire game at Boylan. The Titans hosted Harlem. It was a nail-biter. The Huskies, they came to play. Let's go to the third quarter. Alex Wilson drives. His layup, not going to go, but gets the putback. Fouled for the and one. Now it's Boylan's Tristan Ford driving right. Flips it up with the left. No good. Couple tips from Jamar Johnson. And the Titans have themselves a bucket. But the Huskies respond. DeAndre Young fires from the wing and connects. He's fired up. That's his teammate, Dane Daling, from the other side. That is good. Just like that, Harlem took the lead. But after a timeout, the Huskies turn it over. Nolan Bronze ahead to Ford. Smart play here. Drawing the contact, getting the bucket. That put Boylan up by 3. Huskies with some good ball movement to Wilson. He ties this one up with less than a minute to play. Now Coach Brett McAllister calling a timeout to talk things over. And this is what he comes up with. Joey Apino drives, bounce pass underneath to Johnson, puts it up and in with 5.5 seconds to go. The Titans pulled out the narrow win, 61-59. Right now, the upper half of the Nick 10 standings looks like this. Auburn leads the way at 9-0. Can anyone knock off those Knights? Guilford's in second at 8-2. East and Boylan are both 6-2. Hononegah is 5-4.
Speaking of Hononegah, the Indians will host their annual Martin Luther King tournament tomorrow. Normally, there are games on Saturday and Monday, but because of COVID, there won't be any action Monday, only Saturday. So here are the matchups for Saturday. Starts at noon with Hononegah hosting Normal West. That'll be followed by Naquia Valley against Normal Community. At 4:30, Normal West and Naquia Valley will go at it. Then it wraps up at 6 with Hononegah taking the court again against Normal Community. Jefferson will once again host its MLK tournament. There will be 8 varsity games Saturday. Starts at 10 a.m. with Harlem playing Winnebago. That'll be followed by Batavia against Thornton Fractional South. At 1 o'clock, Guilford will play Chicago Bogan. At 2:30, the Jayhawks will face a team to be determined. At 4 o'clock, Harlan will play its second game against Thornton Fractional South. At 5:30, it's Guilford in action again against Batavia. And at 7, the day wraps up with Jefferson playing Chicago Bogan.
It'll be a loaded field of Class 1A teams at the Pecatonica MLK tournament. These are Saturday's opening round games. At 9 o'clock, Scales Mound against Durand. 10:30, Eastland against Chicago Intrinsic. At noon, it's Pecatonica against Galena. That should be a great one there. And at 1:30, East Dubuque against Polo. There'll be winners and losers brackets. Games Saturday afternoon and evening. The tournament will continue on Monday.
And at the South Beloit tournament, more wall-to-wall basketball starts at 9 a.m. Saturday with Moose Heart against AFC. At 10:30, Stillman plays North Boone. At noon, it'll be the Sobos playing Oregon. At 1:30, Forreston will play Harvard. After that, 3 o'clock, AFC plays North Boone. 4:30, it's Moose Heart against Stillman Valley. At 6 o'clock, Harvard plays Oregon. And at 7:30, South Beloit will play Forreston. We do have a couple of updates there, some last-minute changes. So we just threw a lot of games at you. You can find those matchups and times again right now on our website, mystateline.com.
We'll stick around because up next, it's our overtime spotlight segment. I sit down with maybe the best basketball player in the NUIC and quite possibly the best all-around athlete in the conference, Eastland's Kellen Hensey. When it comes to high school athletes, we scour the state line far and wide to find the best of the best, and we may have found one of them in Lanark at Eastland High School. Let's meet Kellen Hensey, the four-sports star with deep family ties to Cougar athletics.
Number 0, Kellen Hensey.
Kellen Hensey is the starting quarterback for the Eastland Pearl City Co-op, a state finalist golfer, utility infielder, outfielder on the baseball diamond, but where he really shines is on the hardwood.
Whichever sport is in season, I tend to like the best, but I'd say overall basketball is my favorite.
That's because it's a sport he's been playing practically since he could walk. His mother, Colleen, was Eastland's girls basketball coach for nearly 3 decades, and his father, Carl, was the school's first 1,000-point scorer.
He likes to brag a lot. I don't know how much. There's no film when he was in high school, so you never know if he's telling the truth or not.
He's been around, basketball his entire life, in the gym since he was little, going to games, like you said, when his mom coaches. So, yeah, he loves the game and just understands it from all that experience.
My mom taught me a lot about basketball and just the fundamentals and some of the things that you don't necessarily see as much anymore, but are necessary to perform at a high level.
It's not just his parents who he's chasing. As the youngest of 3 children, he's also trying to live up to his siblings. His older brother, Caden, was a varsity star at Eastland, and his older sister, Erin, led the girls' team to a 1A state title in 2020.
Growing up through the years, watching my brother and sister kind of lead this school, it's really made me want to get to that position, and it's really cool just to kind of be a role model for the kids at this school. And with my teammates, I feel like they'll always have somebody that they can look to. If their backs are against the wall, they know that they got me right next to them, and I can always help them out if they need me.
That competition at an early age shaped him into the athlete he is today. He's not one for personal accolades, he just wants to win.
I think the biggest thing is just the competitiveness, no matter what it is, no matter what sport, he's going to be, in the hunt for a win or at the top of the leaderboard just because of his competitiveness.
In a game against Forreston earlier this season, Kellen dropped a career-high 40 points. A few weeks later in a home game against Polo, he had 38 through 3 quarters. Already up big, he didn't play at all in the 4th, but was right there to support his teammates that got the chance to see game action. 2 away from
it.
And you didn't play at all in the 4th?
No.
No?
I don't.
Are you trying to beat it or no?
I don't really care about that stuff too much. I'm just trying to get wins.
It's totally true, He's not looking at the scoreboard and wondering about how many points he has. He's just a gamer and wants to win, and, he embodies what Eastland basketball is all about.
As Kellen wraps up the final semester of his impressive high school career, both in the classroom and as a member of each of his athletic teams, he hopes to leave a lasting legacy of hard work that was instilled in him by his community.
I just kind of want to set an example for kids, hard work leads to success, and if you want to be the best person and best player you can be on the court, in the classroom, on the field, wherever that be, is that you have to work really hard for it. To have this support behind me, it's so nice, and everywhere you look, people are being nice game last night, or they're encouraging you to work harder, and that just kind of fuels the fire. just to try and make ourselves better people on and off the court.
Oh, what a great young man. I joked with him during our interview. I said, your mom has had an influence on you in another way with your coach speak. His answer's very polished.
Yeah, he's very impressive. Any college that he chooses to go to is going to be very lucky to have him.
Absolutely.
We're going to be right back after this final break. We wrap up this episode of Overtime with our play of the week.
The best play caught on our cameras. This one a no-brainer from Wednesday night. Hononegah's Owen Hart before the first quarter buzzer, heaving it up from three-quarter court off the glass and good. It's one of the best shots you will ever see, especially this season. That's the best I've seen so far. That three-pointer huge too, because Hononegah ended up winning that game against Belvedere North by only 2 points. Owen Hart makes our overtime play of the week.
I know his mom liked seeing that play. She was talking about it on social media.
That's a big one.
Proud mom.
It's a big one.
You got to be proud of that, if and I'm sure his classmates are too. But that's the type of shot you dream about making. Now, a reminder: you can catch Overtime right here every Friday night through the end of the season, live at 11 p.m. on Fox 39. We'll also rebroadcast each show Sunday morning at 9 on Fox 39.
And remember, for highlights and scores anytime, go to our website, mystateline.com. Another week down in the books.
That's right.
A couple more to go. That's our show. Thanks for joining us.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.